Good afternoon, everyone. Phil Penarski here with CBS 42 Now. Very quickly, want to introduce this live press conference we're about to hear from Blount County Sheriff Mark Moon. He's going to be giving an update regarding COVID-19 in the county and how it has effects on the Blount County Jail population. We're going to send you there live right now.
On what's happening inside there, I do want to make mention of one of our deputies who's in the hospital right now, very sick. He was my sergeant when I first started here back in 2006, and he's very special to me. His name is Buddy Hutchinson, and I just ask everyone to please pray for him as he is very sick right now. We also have other employees who are sick, not in the hospital, but need your prayers as well. So if you would, please lift them up in your prayers as well. So again, I want to talk briefly, if I can, for just a moment about what's happened in the last few days here at the Sheriff's Office. But before I mention what happened just in the recent days, I want to talk about some of the things that we've been doing here at the Blount County Sheriff's Office at our jail. In March of 2020, we began implementing COVID-19 preventative measures here at the Blount County Correctional Facility to do everything we could to prevent the virus from entering into the jail due to the pandemic. From that time until August, until this month of 2021, the correctional facility at that time had only had one inmate test positive from COVID. That is all to attest to the great work of Captain Atkins and our correctional officers and all that they did inside the jail to prevent it, and also very thankful for our medical team who did a very good job of doing what they could to prevent it as well. In July of this year, our COVID preventive measures were exhausted, however. These exhausted measures created a situation this month that would have us to identify several COVID positive inmates. One came in particular, and when he tested positive in the jail, that began a chain of events that made us bring in the health department so they could help us with testing our inmates. Once that positive inmate was determined, our medical staff, they notified the Blount County Health Department on that same date. And on August the 12th, the health department came to the Blount County Sheriff's Office to our correctional facility, and they provided rapid tests for our officers as well as our inmates. From this test, there were 22 inmates that tested positive for COVID-19 in the correctional facility, as well as 2 of our correctional officers. In that same unit, which is our lockdown unit, our Delta block, it was immediately quarantined, and to this date it is still quarantined, and we are providing the best medical care that we possibly can in that department and in that segment of our jail. And that care is ongoing even as we speak. On August the 12th, Heath Benson Moore, who was one of our inmates that tested positive, passed away from what we believe to be COVID-related issues. And that was on August the 18th. He tested positive on August the 12th, and he passed away on August the 18th. His passing was unexpected, as everyone in that unit, except for the 3 that we had in the hospital at the time, have remained in the same condition or are improving. Our corrections staff was alerted that the inmate was unresponsive in our lockdown Delta unit, and our team, as well as our nurse, found Mr. Moore unresponsive and immediately began life-saving measures to include CPR and the use of an AED. Blount EMS and fire were notified, and they were called and came to the scene, and they took over the life-saving measures as soon as they arrived. Unfortunately, Mr. Moore was pronounced dead at 10:08 a.m. On the morning of inmate Moore's death, he had gotten up that day. He walked over to our nurse's location and he took his daily medication, and he was also acknowledged the nurse, and they had a conversation about his health. The nurse talked to him and said that she was going to go check on another inmate, that she would be back to check him again. Minutes later, our central station in the jail was given the call of an unresponsive inmate. At that time is when our correction staff and the nurse went down to that unit and began the life-saving measures. Jeffrey Ray Davis, another inmate here at the sheriff's office, was transferred from the Alabama Department of Corrections, where he had already received a sentence and was serving his time in the Alabama Department of Corrections. He came to Blount County, but was housed at the Marshall County Correctional Facility with no bond. He was here, Mr. Harris was here on his own request to review his sentence. And on Sunday, August the 15th, Harris experienced breathing difficulties while he was in Marshall County, and then they were immediately they took him and admitted him into Marshall County South Hospital. Harris was diagnosed with COVID, and he was transferred to Marshall County South ICU, where he later passed on Wednesday, August the 18th, 2021 at 4:43 p.m. of COVID complications. We have made many robust and very active ways to try to prevent COVID from getting in the jail, to include 2 separate times that we allowed or provided for the COVID vaccine in our jail for our inmates. Mr. Moore elected to not take the vaccine, and it is unknown if Mr. Harris took the vaccine, as he was in the Department of Corrections and he was an inmate until he came here. Again, Heath Benson Moore, 45 years old, and Jeffrey Ray Harris, 42 years old, both have passed what we believe to be complications related to COVID-19. This time I would be welcome to any questions you may have. If there are no questions, again, I would just ask that everyone please keep Buddy Hutchinson in your prayers. Please keep my staff, my corrections officers, all deputies, as well as our inmates in your prayers. We do the very best we can to provide the very best care that we can for our inmates. Unfortunately, it is a jail and it's not a hospital, so we can only do what we can do. Again, I just ask you to please remember everyone who works here at the Blount County Sheriff's Office, as well as our inmates. If there are no other questions, that'll be all for me at this time.
And that was a press conference with Blount County Sheriff Mark Moon as he discussed the COVID-19 pandemic as it relates to the Blount County Correctional Facility and some of his sheriff's officers, his deputies. Very quickly want to go over some of the points made by Sheriff Moon in that very brief press conference there. Again, I do want to direct your attention to the right of your screen. There is once again the COVID-19 dashboard courtesy of the Alabama Department of Public Health. That way you can stay up to date with all the latest numbers regarding the coronavirus pandemic here in the state. We do have a link to that over on our website, cbs42.com. Sheriff Moon started off by saying that one of his deputies is currently sick in the hospital with COVID-19. He released their name as Buddy Hutchinson, and he is currently asking for prayers. Another Blount County Sheriff's Office employee is also sick. There are a few others, Sheriff Moon said, but they are not in the hospital at this time, but he did ask for prayers for them as well. Some of the bigger news that he did release, however, is that several inmates in the Blount County Correctional Facility have tested positive for COVID-19, and they are currently being quarantined inside the jail. 22 inmates as of late, with 2 correctional officers also testing positive. And then 2 inmates who were serving time at the Blount County Correctional Facility have passed away due to what Sheriff Moon called COVID-19 related illness. He released their names. We are withholding them at this time, but they were both 40 years old. Sheriff Moon saying that the jail has done lots of opportunities for inmates to receive the vaccine. It is unclear if one of the inmates received the vaccine, but it was made apparent to Sheriff Moon that one of the inmates that had passed away due to COVID-19 did not receive the vaccine. We will have a complete update on this press conference over on our website, cbs42.com, and we will also have more information coming up on the CBS 42 News at 4 as well. You can also stay up to date with everything going on across central Alabama by downloading the CBS 42 News app that is available for free for all Android and iOS devices. I want to thank you all again for joining us for another edition of CBS 42 Now. I'm Phil Penarski, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.